Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
And I am Joe.
And today we are going to be doing something a little bit differently. We're going to be ranking the songs from the first Distant Worlds CD. This is most of this is stuff we've heard. We heard when we were at their concert a couple of years back. There were a few that weren't at that show, and there were a few that I didn't know they did. So this was kind of a fun experience listening to this first album that they put out.
I think they put out 4 of these things.
I think so, yeah. I think we're up to Distant Worlds 4 now. But, yeah, we're going to be diving into our rankings of the songs, the track listing from that album a little bit later today. But first, what have we been, where are you in Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, My Life as a Dark Lord?
Or this may surprise you. This may surprise you, but I have not even played a second of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. We're looking at like 4 weeks right now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. And we haven't even touched it. So
Yeah. I have the Wii. I brought it here with me, but I do not. I do not have a TV to plug it into right now.
That's nice. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go pick one up. Isn't that what you said the other day?
Yeah, I do. Okay, guys. So I have moved. I guess now's the time to announce it, right? Because I've signed the lease and everything. So I am in Los Angeles, California.
I thought you weren't going to tell anybody.
Well, I signed a 3-month lease, so I'm here for at least 3 months. Currently, I'm in a hotel room, though. I don't move in until Monday. And I'm basically living in quasi-student housing, so I'm not going to have room to bring my big 50-inch TV for the next 3 months, so I have to go get a really small television that'll also probably be a backup computer monitor. I wouldn't do it if I could find a way to like plug the Wii directly into the laptop, but I can't make that happen without there being some kind of delay, like the streaming stuff. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, basically I'm in LA right now. I'm in LA for 3 months. If anybody's local, give me a message. I know at least one person is. We might be able to hang out or do something. But yeah. So we're doing this over Skype now, and we're each recording our own side. So hopefully the sound also ends up being okay. But you just got married, so congratulations once again.
Yeah, thanks.
And I just moved, and the build up to those two things took up a lot of time. So neither of us played the game, I'm sure. Well, wait, have you? Have you played any of this?
Surprisingly, no. I haven't even unearthed the Wii yet. I know where it is, but I just haven't pulled it out of its grave. So it's still sitting underneath my my TV in my entertainment center. Got a little section that holds all of the older consoles that aren't used as often. So I haven't pulled it out, but I do know I bought the game, so I at least have it.
Yes.
So that's a good start,
I checked my Wii before putting it away. I had to make sure that I, in fact, had it too, and I did. I had the game. I definitely have it. Yeah, the Wii is in a box in the back of my car right now. There's like a little hidden trunk sort of thing in my car, so it's where I assume it's safe. I don't know. There's parts of this town that are not great. There's parts of this town that really are great, though. But I am somewhere in the not so great section right now. So
yeah.
Hopefully my car is not broken into. It hasn't been broken into yet. But just a little small town boy going to the big suburbia. It's not even really a city. It's just suburbia as far as you can see. Like it just never stops.
Yeah.
That's and there's less and the roads aren't very wide. Utah had really wide roads. That could probably handle this amount of traffic a little better. All the roads in LA are really freaking narrow. But yeah, just getting used to it. And Anyway, it'll be a fun adventure for the next 3 months at least. So neither of us have played this game, which is really like terrible, and we haven't done this. But we will. We will. I will plug it in this week somehow. I will make it happen. In fact, if I can, I'm going to see what I can do today about it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll see what I can do today about it. But we're going to go over Distant Worlds. And do we have any news, Schweiss? Oh, how was your honeymoon, by the way? I didn't ask.
It was pretty good. You were, it was kind of funny. You were the closest person to me for a while.
As I was making my way out of Death Valley, which, by the way, the towns in California on the west side of Death Valley are terrible. They're terrible, man. They're like decrepit. There's more homeless people there than like normal people there. It's awful. Going through Nevada and going through Death Valley that way, I do not recommend. I should have just gone the fast way the first time, but it's kind of cool seeing Death Valley for a couple hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been there, but
it's believe it or not, it's pretty freaking hot.
Yeah,
I found out
it's supposed to be one of the hottest places in the world, isn't it?
I think it is the hottest place in the world. I found out that my air conditioning starts being a little piece of shit in my piece of shit car. It starts being a piece of shit when the car gets too hot, which is like when you want the air conditioning. But looks like at about the 100 degree mark, my car's air conditioning stops functioning very well. Just becomes like a slight cool breeze. So I don't know what's going on there. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, is it a problem out there too? I mean, it's a little warmer out there than here, but not much.
No, it was mostly a problem in Nevada.
Okay.
When I was in traffic in Las Vegas, it was a problem, and then through Death Valley, going up hills, it was a problem. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm glad my car did not break down. It has still not broken down. Replaced the timing belt right before I left, which was smart because apparently it was about to break, according to the mechanic. So, okay. So I was the closest one to you on your honeymoon.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I mean, we went to Disney for a couple days and then California Adventure. I don't know. Really, it's just it's super overpriced and. It's okay. The problem is that our family is really into Disney and going to Disneyland and Disney World more so, and they're like, oh, if we go to Disney World for 10 days, it costs less per day than a ticket to Lagoon, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna fucking go to Lagoon for 10 days. Like, Lagoon's gonna be $60, and I'm done. Like,
Lagoon is worth one day.
Yeah. This is going to be $500, and then I'm done. So it's like the comparison is not really one that I like to think about, and it's not justifiable. So it was fun though. I enjoyed it. It was nice to get away. The driving was a lot. It was I think it was 10 hours each way. So that was kind of intense. But I don't know. I've done it before, so. Wasn't a huge deal. I didn't have time to go to the beach, which kind of sucked, but I don't know. I lived in Florida before, so I've been to the beach a ton, and no beach is as nice as a Gulf of Mexico beach. So I'm all right.
You think so? I thought nicest beach I've ever been to was St. Augustine in Florida.
Yeah,
that was on the Pacific side. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. No. Telling you, man, that Gulf of Mexico, all that warm water coming up from south of the border is very comfortable.
Yeah,
it does produce a shitload of storms. Of course,
yeah, it's comfortable until it's on top of you.
Yeah. When it clashes with the other side's cold ass water. But so I mean, there were a few things I didn't get to do, but I rode most of the rides. It sucked because the Peter Pan ride, for some reason, I don't know why, it's always
a huge Peter Pan fan. Is that correct?
Yeah, no shit. But I was like, I got to go to it, even though the wait is always ridiculous, and I don't know why. Other than it's like one of the originals, but like the fucking Dumbo ride isn't, stacked. That's one of the originals too. I mean, come on. But right as I was getting into it, I just barely, like, the line started moving really fast, so I came in from the sun, and I was blinded, and I couldn't see the oh, thank you for that. The super dark ass like seat that I was sitting in, and I just slammed my knee into it. And so I was holding my my massive turkey leg in hand as well. So that I was like, I nailed my knee, and I was just like, I had to like shamble my way into there with this like turkey leg corpse that I was clutching with all my might, and that was pretty bad. Like that hurt pretty fucking bad. But other than that, it was pretty standard. I mean, I got the soup bowls that I always get. Got some. I didn't get any beer. I don't know if I didn't see any. I think they have some at some of the restaurants though. But yeah, it was all right. I mean, Black Bear Diner's better in California, so that was cool, I guess. But yeah, it was good.
Good.
Yeah, it was pricey, but whatever.
Says, did Joe just say Florida Beach was on the Pacific side? No, yeah, I probably did say that, but I meant Atlantic. You know it. Fuck you. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you had an okay time on your honeymoon. Yeah, we didn't get you guys like shambled out of the wedding so quickly. We didn't get best man speech or anything like that. I had them give it on camera, so you're gonna get that in your wedding video. Oh,
nice. Yeah. Cameron was like, when am I going to do that? And I was like, I don't think there's going to be time. So just, yeah.
Did you like drive all night basically? Because you guys left at probably like 8:30.
Yeah, we got back here and we changed out of our stuff. And then we took off at like 9-ish and we drove until about 1 o'clock and stopped in St. George for a night.
You guys stopped in St. George. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So both of us were pussies about stopping.
Yeah.
I guess.
On the way out, yeah. I mean, it was pretty late, so. Did you leave right after I did then?
No. I left like a night after or something like that. I had a whole day.
Okay.
I had to pack up and crap. But yeah, it was funny. It was like we were only 3-hour drive away, Schweiss. I was in what, Ridgecrest, California, which is a piece of shit. And you were in Los Angeles, and I did my little Google like ba-dink thing, and then you did that too, and it was it's just nice.
Yeah. We were still pretty far away from each other.
Oh yeah, it's pretty freaking far. But it was mostly LA. Getting through LA takes like an hour, so it's funny. I had a little funny little couple moments here. So first was in that piece of shit town called Ridgecrest, where I was just at a gas station. This homeless lady was hanging out, and I had a moment where I freaking like my moral compass degraded immediately. Homeless lady goes, "Sir. Sir," she keeps on saying "sir," and I'm ignoring her as I'm going to my car because this place is fucking sketchy. And then I like turn for like half a second, unfortunately look right at her, and then she's like, "Can you take me to the hospital, sir?" And I go, "No." I go, "No," and then and she goes, "No," and I go, "No," and then I get in my car and I drive off as fast as I can. Here's the thing.
Sorry.
I justified it as I was driving away because she was at a gas station, like 4 other people there, and if she really needed to go to the hospital, she could have called 911. So, yeah. And also she wasn't like bleeding or anything, so she's fine. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that fucking crazy lady. And then today I had the cashiers here are like super friendly, like overly friendly. It's driving me nuts. They want to talk a little too much, I think, at least so far that I've come across. And today I had it here at the Trader Joe's that I got the salad at today. I had to hear about a lady's entire vacation yesterday about how she went up to Malibu for the first time and got some wine. She just asked me how my day was like. I was like, it's fine. How's yours? And I got a whole story today on that. So
that's why you just say it was good. It's been good. And then you nod and then that's it.
It's good. Yep. So I just had to sit there for like a minute and a half. She talked about her wine tasting and craft beer that she went and had.
Oh yeah. Did she have gauges and like?
No, she didn't. She was like like a blonde, and then she was like, "I'll be here all weekend." She was like a blonde, probably late 30s, just kind of nice wine loving lady. That's what she was. So yeah. Just getting used to this town. People are. I think out of the two big cities, New York, everybody just kind of left you alone. LA, they're a little too talkative. Gotta get out of this place. Yeah, I need somewhere in between the two.
Yeah.
Like you.
I don't know. I kind of like I found it interesting how like the freeway is just everywhere out there. Like there's a freeway ramp, there's a freeway ramp, there's a freeway ramp. And I'm like, this is kind of confusing for being out here. But I was thinking, like, I bet you it's probably not too bad once you live there for a little while. I mean, it's a lot, but, I mean, Salt Lake used to be a lot to me, too, when I first started driving. I was like, oh, my God, there's so much shit. There's, like, the belt route and, like, I-215, I-80. Like, what is all this? And now it's like, oh, yeah, it's not a big deal. You don't need 90% of it ever. Yeah, I was like, it's kind of impressive how they've done it. I like some of the things that they've done with the roads. It's a little cramped, obviously. There's not enough when traffic does get busy, and it's really, really fucking awful. But I don't know. For the most part, I thought it was fine. I did find it sad when someone asked me if I wanted a bag, and I said yes in my ignorant, unknowing way. And they're like, oh, that'll be $13.84 with the bag. And I'm like, with the bag? And I looked at the receipt and I'm like, 10 fucking cents for the bag? And I was like, how much did the receipt cost? I mean, shit, I would have said no to that too. So there's some ridiculous things that they do.
Bags are just like included. They don't even ask if you want one. They just bag it for you in Utah. Come on.
Yeah. And they
destroy the environment. Here you go. For free.
That's right, yeah. But there, they don't trust us to, recycle for ourselves, so we have to pay 10 cents.
To be fair, I've never recycled in my life. I just straight up threw it away. But
really?
I don't litter, though. So.
Yeah, we are responsible. We send all of our garbage to one central location and litter the shit out of that,
Sure.
And rather than litter a little everywhere, we litter a lot in one or two places in the world, and we just destroy it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. And then the fucking what was the other thing that pissed me off? Oh, it was the bottle. I bought like a bottle of water, and they tacked on this delicious 10-cent fee to that as well, and they're like, oh, and then the thing is they're like, oh yeah, but you get it back if you take it to the recycling place. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true, but I'm not going to because I'm visiting here, so I'm not going to take it back. And I will, however, use it over and over and over again, so you kind of got that out of me. But my plan now is to spend the next year or two just collecting every single plastic bottle that I use, and then I go on a trip to California just to cash them all in for 10 cents a pop and then drive right on back. Just be like, fuck you guys. You want your bottles? I got your bottles. I'm not getting 10 cents back. I'm getting 10 cents from you.
Because you told me about this last night. The worst part about that plan is that you could you'll probably get $10 out of it, maybe.
Yeah. And the gas is going to be like 100 plus. Be like, see what happens when you try to save the environment. See what happens. I just drove 1,200 miles to get these bottles to you. You really think you're making a difference with your 10-cent fine? Yeah, it's annoying. But,
yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I did find a nice place yesterday to go hiking, which was nice. Glad I found that as quick as I did. There's like a place called Topanga Canyon or whatever, and there's like a little place called Lionel Canyon, and parking's free, and the trail is really nicely taken care of, and just had a really good hike yesterday, and it was all misty and cool, and then kind of near there's some decent street parking for the beach. So yeah, I found at least like one part of LA that I know I'm going to be like, that's going to be my nature spot because it's free parking. The parking is ridiculous here, by the way. It's all super like, let's nail people with our parking structure fees. Like cheapest parking I've seen anywhere is $10.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. There's some pretty cool shit going on though. Tonight I'm gonna go see Akira in 35 millimeter at the Egyptian Theater, and I'm super excited for that. There's also last night somewhere, I didn't go see this, but I thought about it. They were playing Enter the Dragon somewhere in 35 millimeters. So like the Revival House theaters around here are pretty cool. There's a bunch of independent movie theaters around here. I mean, I was expecting that, but like as a big movie buff guy, big movie nerd, that this is like, I've like struck gold. The only problem is that I don't know how the parking's going to be when I get to those places. So
yeah,
I don't know if because movie tickets are like $3 more than they are in Utah, just overall. I don't know like how much I'm going to be railed for all that shit too. And I'm still I'm unemployed right now. I've paid 2 months worth of rent, so I basically have 2 months to get a job. So I can't really be spending money like crazy. But I think I'm going to enjoy at least all the movie shit in this town.
You got to be careful though. I heard those those little movie houses are known to cause cancer. But only to the state of California. Now you're in the danger zone. Now all those little Prop 65 or whatever tags, they actually will cause cancer in California. And when you're out of California, it's like, oh, whew, I'm in Utah. I'm okay. I'm safe. But when you're there, you got to watch out.
That's true. Yeah, every hotel, the 2 hotels I've stayed in, they all cause cancer.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
The hotel causes cancer?
The hotel causes cancer. It says all the plastic and vinyl in this hotel is known to cause cancer. It's like, fuck. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are on top of it, at least warning us. Oh, by the way, smoke outside.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to die in here, but yeah. Just so you know.
You're going to get cancer from being in the hotel, but we don't want you to give others cancer. So you have to sit outside when you're smoking.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's the proper way to do things, I think.
Of course, yeah. Just like littering all in one place.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, we should probably actually talk about Final Fantasy. You got news?
Yep.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's get into the news. So, really light week in news. Only 2 articles this week. So, Dissidia Final Fantasy NT is getting new battle themes in October. Full list of BGMs: Matoya's Cave, Final Fantasy 1, Forbidden Land of Eureka, Final Fantasy 3. I think that's kind of a funny name for a song. Eureka doesn't sound like a Forbidden Land whatsoever to me. It sounds like a place where you go and you have like a fucking epiphany. You're like, oh my god. If only we dug for gold here earlier, we would all be rich. But Eureka is the Forbidden Land. It doesn't sound very, very evil or foreboding or anything.
Yeah, that sounds like the Japanese think that the name Tina is some beautiful, luscious name. Tina. But
and it's like, no, not really. So we're going to get...
There is a town in Utah called Eureka.
There is, yeah. It's really shitty.
It's a really shitty mining town. Still better than any of the towns west of Death Valley.
Yeah.
Yes. I was in Eureka 2 months ago. There's some similarities, but...
They're both run down.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
I know the gas is cheaper in Eureka, too. It's
brutal
out there.
Oh, one more thing about California that's driving me nuts. Gas stations here, man. It's not just the price, because it is like $1 more per gallon, which is ugh. But the fact that gas stations like sneak up on you here. They're in Utah and in pretty much all the other states around Utah. It's the gas station signs are like big beacons out into the darkness. Like, this is where the gas is.
Yeah.
In LA, gas stations like zoom past you, and I don't see them coming up, and I'm not ready for them. I guess when you get to know the city better, you'll just know where the gas stations are. But it's like trying to find a gas station yesterday. I saw like 1 million of them, but like when it was too late. Just had like an adventure yesterday looking for gas.
Yeah.
But I could use those like 50-foot gas station signs again. Really could.
Yeah, they don't like that there, I guess. I don't know.
No, I guess not, yeah. The planes will knock it over. I'm kind of near LAX, and all the planes are like overhead, just like really low. Okay, so Eureka, land of what?
The Forbidden Land of Eureka. So Final Fantasy IV's main theme is going to be there. Genova Absolute. Battle 2 from Final Fantasy IX. Goddess Divine from Final Fantasy XI. Night of the Goddess from Final Fantasy XIII-2.
Goddess of the Goddess
from Final Fantasy XIV. So look forward to that if you're still playing that awful, awful game. Glad they're still updating it, though, because that means that someone is out there playing it. So we do have another Final Fantasy 15 collaboration that's happening. This is going to be with Terra Wars. I don't know what that is.
Terra, is that like Terra Battle? Is that Mistwalker Studios, Hironobu Sakaguchi thing?
No clue. They have a trailer, though, so I'm going to watch the trailer.
All right. And, I'll get your reactions to your trailer.
Yeah, let's see what it is. T for language, mild blood, partial nudity, and violence. All good things. All known to cause cancer. Oh, wow, we got some grunts going on.
I'm not going to be able to get any of that audio, by the way. So
Noctis is waking up in the world of Terra Battle.
Cool. What's happening, Schweiss? You have to tell me.
So there's a girl named Sarah introducing herself to Noctis. She said she's not going to bite, but she seems ill.
Okay.
He's like touching your clothes. I don't know. This is really weird. There's like weird cubes coming up from the ground everywhere too. I think he cured her. Noctis is suspicious. Doesn't know where he's at.
Okay.
Neither of them know where they're at. They're both lost. They both think the other person has brought them to this location, but they didn't.
Metaduelist in the chat says Sarah is taking her robe off.
Insomnia.
They get closer, he says.
So they do. Yep. She wants to team up, looking for her friends.
Oh. Sounds hot.
Looks like she's going to be the boss.
Schweiss, do you have any idea how bizarre this is from my end? Like, and from the end of what the audience is going to hear at home?
Probably very odd. Yeah.
I think we might have to shelve trailer reactions while we're recording over distance like this.
Probably. I honestly have no idea what Terra or what this game is, so it's kind of a weird collab to me. But I mean, the other ones have been super weird too. They had an Assassin's Creed collaboration. They've had all sorts of weird ass collaborations over the years with FF15. namely. I mean, they've done some with 14 as well, but they, I don't know why they keep doing it. They should just, the game's been out for what, like almost 2 years now?
They just announced like 7 more DLC, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I mean, isn't that enough for you guys? Isn't that enough? The answer is no. It's never enough. They want it to be the biggest FF in the series, and it's kind of working its way that way. I mean, I don't know if it'll quite reach it, but wasn't it up to like 8 million or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
So it's doing it. The weird one to me, though, is when they have collaborations when it's a game that's not really affiliated at all. Like when they did the Assassin's Creed, like there's really nothing about Final Fantasy 15 that screams Assassin's Creed to me. And it's odd because they're like, oh, the idea of doing a collaboration, the idea of that is to build more of an audience base by appealing to a different audience base. But I'm thinking, like, does that really help? I mean, I don't know, because it's the same people, or the people who are going to play Assassin's Creed aren't necessarily the same guys who are going to play Final Fantasy. So I don't think having a collaboration with that is really beneficial, other than being just a fun little add-on for you to mess around with.
I don't know. It might give some people who've never messed around with a game like that, might give them a good in to the series or to JRPGs or RPGs in general. I don't think it hurts anything. I don't mind it. I do hate all the DLC, but there's nothing we can do about it at this point. That's just how it is now. And when we replay the game in 5 years, when they finally settle down, what game we played when it was first released is just gonna be unrecognizable. Probably, yeah. Yeah, that'll be an interesting experience.
Yeah, going through all of the DLC and stuff, just seeing what they did. We'll have to get Stolas to give us the ultimate play order for everything, because I know he has a little document that lists all of when you should play certain DLCs. So we'll have to see how that looks when they come out with the Noctis and Arden and stuff like that.
Wow,
DLCs, but yeah,
wow, that is dedication.
I know. That is it for the news. Super light week.
Super light. News. Holy crap.
Barely anything to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we got Distant Worlds music from Final Fantasy from the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic something to get into. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is Distant Worlds music from Final Fantasy. Both of us have seen them live twice.
Yes. Wait, twice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we saw them here in Salt Lake, too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So we saw them in New Jersey when KupoCon was going on.
Yeah, still lovingly getting their weekly updates on our email for new NJ Pack events that we will never go to because we live in Utah. So we saw it there, and we did see it here.
And honestly, Pack is in my junk mail.
Yeah. I feel like there were pretty similar performances the 2 times we saw them, at least, because it kind of blends together as one. And for a second, I had forgotten that we saw them here in Salt Lake City. And I think the reason why is because they have a set that they play for everybody. But hopefully that, I don't know, that's a cool idea, but it's why go to another one if you're going to hear the same music? So I think that's kind of why they have these different albums, and I think they try to focus on what they have on the newer album when they tour. I would imagine.
I don't know how they pick a set list. Certainly there's certain songs that they have to play every time, Liberale Fatale, and then And then One Wing Angel, they got to play both those every time. They got to play the main theme. They got to play the prelude music at some point. They probably have to play at least one Chocobo theme. We get 2 on this album. But yeah, so there's going to be like a good, like 3/4 of their set list is probably going to be like stuck there. Not to bring up Metallica one more time, but I'm going to bring up Metallica one more time. You always have to play Master of Puppets. You have to play Enter Sandman. You have to play 1. And so really, like you get about like 4 slots that you can like play around with different stuff, like different deep cuts. But you know, for the people there that aren't like diehards, like that don't like listen to all the Final Fantasy music or have played all the games, you know, they're there for the greatest hits, and you have to play to that audience. Otherwise, they're going to be alienated, not go again.
Yeah.
So you know. That's what you have to deal with. But anyway, this was, according to my Google Play thing, it's a 2007 recording. And our first track here, I'm going to play this kind of quietly in the background. Our first track here is the bombing mission opening from Final Fantasy VII. What did you think about this one, Schweiss?
Honestly, I did enjoy hearing it in sort of a higher quality, more fully orchestrated form. I felt like it added a level of intensity and depth that the original version of the track sort of lacked a little bit. I really love the very, very beginning of this song. I think it's really great. I mean, when we see Aerith and like her walking around in the slums and stuff like that, and then it kicks off the Final Fantasy VII logo, like that part is really, really good. So the first, like, 45 seconds of it is, like, my favorite. Now the rest of it's, like, a pretty fast beat, like, oh, we gotta hurry and get this done. Like, it's very fitting for what happens in the game. And I think their version of it is pretty damn solid. So
yeah, I think the opening of FF7 is very iconic. So certainly the love from there is great, and it's a great way to open up an album or a show of Distant Worlds is to have the FF7 opener.
Yeah.
And then it goes straight into the bombing mission music. Oh, it's about to start anyway. Let's see. Yeah, you might be able to hear that. Anyway, I think it's a really amazing opener, including the bombing mission stuff. Really big brass section that I like. When it's like when the song kind of swells up and it gets really huge. You don't get that in the MIDI version of the song. Like you don't get that kind of those dynamics in the version that's in the game itself. So I really like that. The tempo that's rocking with like the really fast piano, and it's got a really good beat. So it's got a little bit of rock and roll in there, and it kind of it gets you into the whole concert experience of the album. And I would say that the bombing mission and the opening thing, I have notes on whether or not they're better than the original. This one I think is way better than the original.
Oh yeah.
And oftentimes I have this album. I have the first 2 Distant Worlds albums. And this one's the one I listen to the most, but the track I listen to the most, not just because it's the opener, but because it's like awesome, really big, and a really cool version of the song that was in the original game, is this opening track. Fucking love it. When it's doing those big brass, like that kind of Wagner-esque sort of heavy metal thing, I really get into. So I dig it. I dig the hell out of that piece.
I think most of these songs are better as Distant World songs than they were in the original, but I think there are some, like you said, that are that sort of fall short, and perhaps it's because of the situation that was at hand in the original game. I mean, what you were experiencing at the time made it a little better in the form of the game, but I think for the most part, the more orchestrated, heavier versions are pretty damn good from this album. So this one I did like a lot. It's kind of tough ranking these things because almost all of them are really good songs, and they're really good versions of really good songs. So it's going to be tough when we get to our rankings of the songs. But yeah, opening bombing mission is pretty sweet.
All right, Libri Fatale is the next one. This is the opening track to Final Fantasy VIII, which of course is in its original form is a big, huge symphonic, operatic kind of piece. What did you think of this one?
I wrote that it was an already awesome vocal track brought to new heights with the Distant Worlds performance of it. I think it's a great song here and a great song in Final Fantasy VIII. I don't know which one I like more necessarily. They're almost the same thing because FF8's opener has a lot of that big sound, but I think Distant Worlds does it a little bit better. And I mean, there's a million reasons why. I mean, they were making a video game and adding sound and music to it, so that there's a little bit of a difference there. But I think this is a great track on here, and it's such a bitchin' song that it really does deserve to be played at every Distant World concert, and I'm pretty sure it probably is. It's the best song from FF8, so
it definitely is the best song from FF8. I put that it's a great piece, pretty much note for note that it was in the game. Like it's already a big symphonic performance.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Now, in my opinion, it's the choir folks. These are, I'm assuming it's a Stockholm, because it's the Stockholm Philharmonic, whatever. That they're Swedish, and the original singers were probably Japanese. So the way they pronounce words in the song is a little different, and just because it's a little different, I don't like it as much. But I mean, this is a great version of the song still, anyway. So I guess we'll disagree on Liberale Fatale, but I think it's still great. It's just not as good as the original recording.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm just used to the other choir. It's probably more like what it is. If I had heard this version first, I'd probably think this one was better.
Yeah.
Next is Aerith's theme.
Yeah, I mean, this one is, it's an incredibly beautiful song, you know. It's another one of those super iconic ones, because everybody's played Final Fantasy VII pretty much, you know, it's the biggest fanboy game in the series. It's huge. It's got a massive footprint on gaming and on the Final Fantasy franchise, and this one's always a welcome piece. You know, it's really, really light, super iconic, and I kind of dig their super low key version of this song. I mean, it's just as peaceful and light as it is in the game, and I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, so after kind of those two big heavy hitting ones, like the bombing mission and Liberale Fatale, to kind of come in with this slowed down third track, I thought was like a really good idea. You know, the slow build up of the song is really pretty. Lots of beautiful melodies kind of put on top of each other. And this song sounds great, fully orchestrated. I'm not sure what version of the song is in the Advent Children FF7 retrospective video. You know, that like extra thing in the Advent Children DVD?
Yeah.
There is an orchestrated version of the song in that one as well, and that one's also amazing. And if it is the same thing, you know, whatever. But it just goes to show that, like, this piece of music orchestrated is gorgeous, and just the way it, like, it's totally expanded and kind of big and epic in parts. I don't know. There's a lot of good emotion throughout the song. And then during the bridge, there's some really cool arpeggios going on under the main melody, like just going on under the main melody, which I thought was really dope. And I will say that in my notes here, I have Aerith's theme, played by Distant Worlds, is better than the original in the game. Yeah, by far. That MIDI track just doesn't age that well, so...
No, and like I agree with that. I think this one's easily the superior version of the song, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of songs that are superior, no, actually not. Speaking of songs that are superior, Fisherman's Horizon from FF8.
Yeah. my notes on this was a highly regarded piece within the series, but not as great in my eyes. The orchestra really does help make it come alive, but it is probably my least favorite track on this entire album.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I just don't really care for it too much. It doesn't... I don't know. There are a lot of people that, like, when I bitch about 8's soundtrack, they mention Fisherman's Horizon, and I hear it, and I'm like, oh, it's a good song, but it's not one that I think really needs to be done by these guys, by Distant Worlds. I feel like it's sort of a background piece that you grasp onto because of 8's inability to have a really good soundtrack. They have some really great pieces, and there's another song from Final Fantasy VIII that's in here that is a great song. But this one, I don't know, I've never really dug it that much, to be honest. And that's why before I knew what the song was, when people would mention it, I'd be like, I don't know what that is. And then I finally looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard that song before, but it's not one that I would just like listen to, And that most of these songs on here are ones that I would just listen to one day. Mm-hmm. Most of the ones on here, except for probably the Chocobo tracks. I don't need to hear those necessarily, but this is one of the ones that I wouldn't find myself just seeking out,
Yeah.
I like their version.
I kind of have a similar reaction to the original version of Fisherman's Horizon, just to be sure, because I was listening to the one on this one. Is like, yeah, I remember this from the original game. Then I went and looked up the original game's soundtrack version of it. I was like, oh yeah, oh no, I still hate it. It's the way. I think a lot of my issues with the FF8 soundtrack, once again, there's still great stuff in there, but my issue with the FF8 soundtrack is the orchestration. So it's the tones that they used in the synthesizers or whatever that are the pieces of music going on in FF8 that I just cannot stand. And Fisherman Horizon is one that's like that. The melody it's fine, and this version of Fisherman's Horizon I kind of like. It's very nice and calm. It's a very Japanese sounding melody. And it is way better than the original, but the original sounds like, and I wrote this down, it sounds like a parody of elevator music.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. It's so plinky and terrible. This version is way better. So, I like this version. But I didn't like the original's kind of jarring, weird orchestration of almost any of the pieces in Final Fantasy VIII, and this is just an example of that. But a lot of people do like this song. I've heard a lot of our listeners mention Fisherman's Horizon as well, so we might be talking to the same listeners. But yeah, people like this song. I think it's good, this version, but not the original Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Speaking of Final Fantasy VIII, what's our next one? Don't Be Afraid.
Yeah. For me, honestly, Don't Be Afraid is, I think it's kind of one of the best battle themes in the entire series. I mean, it's a super upbeat, sort of bombastic and like invigorating song, and it gets you pumped and ready to fight. Like, that it's time to duke it out whenever you hear that song kick in. And I feel like one of the reasons why I like it a lot is because the last time I played FF8, I didn't get into that many battles because I was doing the no encounter run like you're supposed to, And I didn't hear it nearly as often because I really loved the FF10 one as well, but like I heard that thing way too much.
Yeah.
And this one is just like, I don't know, it's so big and brassy and like, I just really like it a lot. And I think this is a really great version of it. I don't think it's that different of a version. But it does definitely amp everything up to 10, and it does make it heavier.
There's way more organ in the first version.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I think it's heavier and better than it was before.
Okay, I do think it's better than it was before. Twice I've played FF8 4 times now, and actually, beat it 4 times, but have played it many more times than that. I cannot stand the original version of this song.
Oh, really?
I cannot stand it, man. I recognize that it has some cool strengths in there. It kind of has like a 70s spy movie feel to it almost. And this version of it is a really good performance, but the original one drove me nuts. It drives me way more nuts than the FF10 battle theme ever did. And the organ use in the original version also drove me nuts. I know a lot of people love this song. I know you seem to like it a lot. And it could be that I was just exposed to it too much, but I don't think I liked it when I first played the game either. I think I was like, but this version I like a lot. Kind of liked the little horror music bridge section. Definitely think this version's better than the original, but I know it's a beloved track. Sorry guys, I gotta be controversial in some way, but
yeah, apparently
can't stand the original, man. Can't do it. Our first 5 tracks on this album are all from FF7 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're the biggest ones, so makes sense.
Well, no, 10 is bigger than 8 is.
Well,
that confuses me why there's like no FF10 in this thing.
I don't think there is a single FF10 song.
That's insane to me. I know in the other Distant Worlds there are, but that's crazy. They go from, so it goes FF7, FF8, FF7, FF8, FF8, and then FF11.
Yeah.
With Distant Worlds. It has a longer title than that because it's not just Distant. It's Memoro de la Stono. Sure, I'm pronouncing that beautifully.
Yeah, I'm
Distant
sure.
Worlds, which is kind of the opening track of FF11 mixed with the Distant Worlds song, which is in one of the expansions of FF11. Which honestly, I tried to look for the original version of Distant Worlds, and I could not tell. I could tell a difference in the recording, like where instruments were at, but the performance was almost exactly the same. And so, way to go, Susan Calloway, for being able to just totally recreate her performance live. But yeah, this is a big one. Schweiss, what did you think of this thing? This was like, because I hadn't played FF11 yet when I bought this album, like this was a huge reveal to me, like this music.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down that this song was meant to be played by these guys. I mean, it's perfect. This is top tier Final Fantasy theme song, and Susan's vocals are definitely on point, and they're always on point as far as I can tell. It's a great and a completely necessary pick for the album. I mean, obviously, it's the song called Distant Worlds, you know?
Yeah.
And it's only enhanced by the surrounding instrumentals. I do think it sounds just about the same, to be honest, but it's just such a great song, you know? We've had theme songs in the games for a while now, and the only one that I think I like more than this is the Answer song from 14. But even that, it's like close, because this song is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And this is one of the, you know, it's not one that I think a lot of people really appreciate as much as they should, because not everyone played Final Fantasy XI. There's a big crowd of people out there that refuse to play the MMO Final Fantasy games. They don't acknowledge it, and they're missing out on a lot of great shit. And all you have to do is watch the opening cutscene to 11 to get this great fucking song. I really enjoy it, and I'm glad we were able to see it live as well. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Beautiful piece of music that the non-MMO fans will get to enjoy only because of this collection, which I think is really cool that they put an FF11 song in here. Good kind of choral stuff going on. I think before Susan Calloway does her solo, the redo of the opening of 11's music is also like really amazing and really expanded. I thought really well done. Kind of love the change. We're about to get into it actually on my phone here. When the flute comes in and the the little romantic melody is coming in, and then the song switches over. I love that change. In my opinion, this is the best Final Fantasy song. Now, there's only 2 good ones.
Yeah.
But out of the 2 good ones, this is my favorite. And this is the version I listen to. I don't listen to the original version pretty much ever. It's actually harder to find on YouTube and stuff. But God, it's just a great piece of music. It's a great, big, huge middle track to have on this album. It was a great discovery for me as a person listening to music. And I just, I love this thing. I think it's like 11 minutes long, the whole entire track. But it's totally awesome. Totally, I love it. Love it.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. It's great.
All right. Medley 2002.
Yeah, so they did a similar medley in the concert we went to, and I don't know, this I wrote down here that it's a decent track, but it's not one of my favorite. I enjoy the lighter flutes that appear later in the song, but I do prefer the more epic stuff. The Chocobo theme was kind of fun thrown in there, but I don't know, I kind of prefer the mainstays, the real songs that they have. The medley was fun to hear again, and it was fun reminiscing about hearing it live and being like, oh yeah, this is from that one, and oh, this is from this game, but honestly it's kind of I don't know, it's almost like a hodgepodge song. It's just a bunch of stuff mixed in, and
it is.
I don't know if I like my music casserole necessarily. It's but it's fine though. It's the second from bottom on my list, but
no, not for me. I got it somewhere. I got it higher than that. Okay. That's all you have to say about it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's fine.
All right. There's a lot of iconic pieces in here that I was remembering as we played them. So there are 6 pieces in total that were played. The Prelude, the main theme, and then Matoya's Cave, which was one I was just like, what is this? I've heard this!
Yeah.
Which I thought was just a beautiful rendition of Matoya's Cave. And Araya's theme, which was, again, just, gorgeous. Then it had a Chocobo theme, which I thought was the best Chocobo theme on the album. It's very short in this version, but I thought it was good. Mm-hmm. And then the Rebel Army thing, which was this very cool, brassy, kind of boisterous section that I really dug. So as a medley, which is what it is, it's just like a bunch of random stuff to put together, I thought it was a really good selection. Certainly it expands this album away from the FF7 and FF8 only arena, which is really nice and refreshing. But those 2, Matoya's Cave and Araya's Theme, those versions of those 2 songs I thought were great. And overall, I thought it was a good performance of all those pieces. Now, it is a medley, so if you're ranking songs against each other, then maybe you might get the short end of the stick as part of the album. And maybe you would rather just have the full long tracks that are a minute and a half each or whatever. But I don't know. As a medley, I thought it was great.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. What else we got? What do we got next?
Theme of Love from FF4.
Ah, yes. This one's always a welcome song. It's really great. I think this is one of the more iconic themes in the entire series. And I enjoy that they sort of took a real low-key rendition of it. They didn't make it super big, and they kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a revered song. I almost said thong there. It's a revered thong. But they sort of treat it like that. They're like, you know what, we're just going to make it, we're going to do a cover, of course, but we're going to make it basically sound the same, just add our own, our not MIDI sound to it, So... Mm-hmm. I really like the Theme of Love, and it's one of those ones that you know, but you might not necessarily know the name of the song, and that's like most of the Final Fantasy music for me, because I don't...
Went through so many of them.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of tracks on each game. So,
yeah, so it's like, this is one that always will stand out, and you'll know, oh, this is a Final Fantasy piece. If you ever heard it, like, in the wild,
Yeah.
You would know it, and it's really good, and I like their version of it quite a bit. It's pretty similar to the OG, but
The OG version is one of the better kind of MIDI orchestrated pieces, though. Like it's a really simple kind of melody, but it's just beautiful. And the original version was gorgeous, and this version, I think, the expanded orchestration of it, I really like, and this is my preferred version. Although the original one's great. One of the most iconic Final Fantasy pieces. I know, like, famously, like, it's used in, like, public schools and music classes in Japan for little kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a beautiful piece of music, and I don't think really you can screw it up. Any version of this song I've ever heard has been great. So
yeah. I bet you if they made a Five Finger Death Punch version, they would screw it up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They could.
They can pretty much screw up any song they ever touch that someone else has made. So
100%, 100% with you on that. Never heard a cover by them that I like. So
yeah.
Bad Company makes me want to kill someone. I know you're more mad about the other cover, but
I am. Yeah, the House of the Rising Sun is disgusting.
Is it worse or better than Holy Diver
from fucking what was that band? Killswitch Engage. That's what it was.
Holy Diver by Killswitch Engage. That cover. Holy Diver.
I don't know, man. It's probably, honestly, they're all about the same level of badness to me. I can't pick one if I were to, like, give it the golden cover turd, you know? I don't know if I could. They're all pretty dumb.
Yeah, they're terrible covers. Anyway, these are good covers, though, most of these.
Yes, yeah. Theme of Love is great.
Theme of Love is amazing. Vamo a la Flamenco, which is a little, tiny little FF9 piece, which I had to look up the original on. I recognize the theme, but...
Yeah.
Very expanded version of that piece. Love the Spanish guitar stuff. The fact that it's a real Spanish guitar is really awesome. With the little solo added. That was a lot of fun for me as a guitar guy. Love that shit. Good place in the concert for this type of piece. And mostly we've either done big epic stuff or like really calm, romantic sounding stuff. And this was the one where we got to have a little bit of fun with the Spanish music. Way better than the original. Got a really epic ending too that I liked. But yeah, I freaking dig. I should actually have that song play. I really I dig the crap out of this thing. Now, it's not my kind of music that I'll just listen to for fun, but as a piece of music, as a passerby listening to it on this album, I dug it.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun piece from 9. It's not one of the ones I would have chosen from the game, obviously.
No, I wouldn't either.
But it's pretty upbeat, and it is fun, and it does have a good spot in the album. Like you said, it does kind of like, it's a bit of a change of pace from what we've gotten thus far. And I felt the extra oomph provided by Distant Worlds was pleasing to the ear hole. You know, I like their renditions of these songs, and this song, like you said, I don't really care for it as much in the game. It's not one that I would ever listen to from Final Fantasy IX, but they provided me with a pretty good version that, you know, maybe I would. I think this is one that sort of needs to be redone by Distant Worlds to be truly enjoyed. I mean, because like we remembered it from the game. But like all those additions that they provided, like it really amplifies the experience of the song, and it sort of brings you back to where you were in the game at the time, you know. And I think that's very interesting that their performance of it would do that. So yeah, it was. I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Not the 9 song I would have chosen, but whatever.
No. There's so much good music on FF9 though. It's like it's tough.
Yeah.
Our next piece is almost Eyes on Me, but not quite. Our next piece is Love Grows from FF8. What'd you think of this?
I think it's another reason why we shouldn't give 8's soundtrack quite as much shit as we do. I like this one a pretty decent amount. I remember it from the game, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good track. No one ever says, Love Grows is great, from what I hear. They're always like, yeah, it's never that song. It's always that damn Fisherman's Horizon, and I feel like this song is way more solid to listen to. I think it's a good one, and I like the orchestra's performance of this song. I think I definitely prefer it over the original. It just has that added realism to it. It has that added instrumental and sort of bigger feel, even to a small and more intimate piece that it is. I think they did a pretty damn good job.
Okay. It's a nice theme. And I think we have talked about before on the show with FF8 that even with Eyes on Me, like, the melody is fine, and this is one of the pieces I'm sure that plays during the game that is just like, it's just the orchestral version of Eyes on Me playing in the background of some of the parts of the game.
Yeah.
And I never thought that those versions in the game were bad. I just think the song, with its on-the-nose lyrics...
Yeah, the theme song itself. Yeah.
And the performance of the actress / singer that I freaking love outside of that song, it's just that song drives me nuts. And so a little bit of me is irked when I hear this thing because it reminds me of that song, but it's fine. It's a nice theme. I don't mind the Eyes on Me melody when there's no singing involved. I really dig on this version, this Distant Worlds version. I love the piano with the arpeggios on one side while the melody is being played in octaves on the other side. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then all the orchestration stuff. It's just a better version of what was in FF8. I really dig this version, but it is unfortunately it's an FF8 heavy album here. That's another FF8 song. So I could have used something else from another game, but yeah, it was good. Opera, Maria and Draco.
Yeah, you know what? This is actually one of the ones that I don't like as much.
I thought I was going to be alone on that one. Okay, all right.
I really love the simplicity and the the emotion that's brought forth in the original version of this song. And I think making it a 7-minute beast that they did on this album and adding
it's a 12-minute and 15-second beast.
Oh, okay. I think it's just too much. I don't really like the vocals. I kind of preferred what they did in the original game, where it was just like a few lines of text and it was like this big thing, and like it wasn't as big size-wise, but it was big in the moment. And I feel like this is one of those songs that you really need the context for. I think that the time it happened in Final Fantasy VI, like when it was brought forth, like it was very great. It was perfect in that moment, in that game. And it was an opera scene between like two characters that we know nothing about, and like it's like suddenly Celis is rushed in and like she has to sing, but it was like awesome. It was really great there, but I don't really care for it as much here. I don't like the vocals in it necessarily. I don't like how it's a 12-minute song. It seems way too long, and I know it's like an ode to that opera scene that's so iconic in Final Fantasy VI, but I like the original one about 5 times more than this one. It's not my least favorite song on this album, but I just don't like it as much as the original. It doesn't have the meaning, it doesn't have the feel to it, and I do think it's about 6 minutes longer than it needs to be on here. And I skipped about half of it because I was like, I can't do this. I gotta record this show. I'm already bored with it. It kicked off the second vocal part, and I was like, no, we're moving on.
It's a pretty good harmony thing that happens in the second half, but that's like my favorite part of the thing. But whatever.
Oh, really? not big on this one, personally.
I listened to this morning because I was taking notes on all the tracks, and then I needed to hop into the shower real quick, and I just like, oh, the next track is 12 minutes long, and I remember what it is, so I'll just blast it on my phone while I'm in the shower. And so I just did that. And basically finished my shower when the song was finishing up.
There you go.
But yeah, I thought I was going to be alone on this one. So I feel like I've talked to a listener of ours that totally disagrees. I think I did bring this up like a year and a half ago. It's like the opera stuff, remaking the opera stuff so it's an actual opera with an actual like orchestra. It just doesn't work for this piece of music. There's nothing really wrong with it, except maybe the lyrics are really on the nose. But you can kind of take on the nose lyrics are okay in a 2D RPG video game where you're imagining people singing in opera, but actually hearing those lyrics sung by real Swedish singers singing in English, there's something lost there. There's a magic that's lost there, and I just don't think it translated well. It's a really good idea. It's like, oh, there's a whole opera section in FF6. Let's just do that.
Yeah. It sounds like it's good on paper, but it's not good on the ears. It
may be if they translated it into Italian or something like an opera language.
yeah.
And it might work a little better. I do like in my ear does not like opera in English either. So like when I hear those Mozart, like translated versions of Mozart stuff in English, like they always kind of irk me just a little bit. But that's also Mozart, which is way more like complex and speedy and wordy and stuff like that. It feels like this is just not wordy enough for opera, like real opera. And something's lost in translation. I don't dig it too much, and I also don't think that it deserves 12 minutes.
No,
but
yeah.
I love the original piece, and I love the idea of the opera going on, but with the, it's kind of like there's this whole big story going on with FF6, but you're looking at these like tiny little sprites on screen and stuff like that, and the idea of a huge expansive world adds to it. When like seeing a big fully 3D rendered version of FF6 would probably take away that imagination side of the experience, and I think a lot of that is what's missing here on this one. So this is also not one that I like. I thought you might have liked this one, but okay, we're both on the same page. That's interesting.
Yeah, didn't need to be there.
No, I like the original one better. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
just doesn't translate that well. Maybe you could take the melodies and do something better with it. Maybe rewrite the lyrics or something and have it be pretty great. But this version, no. Okay. All right. So the next song is "Swing de Chocobo."
Yeah.
It's our second Chocobo theme on this album. The first one was in the medley.
Isn't that the FF5 one? I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember which one it is. There's too many of them at this point.
I think it is. Yeah, or 5 or 6 because I think it's on that CD that I have that came with the collection of 5 and 6.
Okay.
For PlayStation 1. This one's a pretty fun, upbeat track, and it was enjoyable live. I thought this one was pretty great when we saw it in concert. It's not really what I would pull up and listen to on my own ever in any...
No.
There's no chance of that. But I did find it... I don't know, it's a pretty fun, like, upbeat, really uplifting, good time, and that's kind of what FF5 tries to be, you know, and it's I think it translates well, and I think it's well placed within the album, but it's just, unfortunately, it's not one of the songs that I care for too much. It's on a personal level, but it's, you know, it's fine, and they have a pretty fun and good performance of it, so can't fault that. It's just,
felt like one Chocobo theme was enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. So maybe there's a little too much saturation for me. I would only listen to one Chocobo theme, and that would be ironically, and it would be the FF13-2.
Yeah.
or was it 3? It might have been FF13-3. Whatever the heavy metal Chocobo song was, I would do that on my own. But this one's kind of a fun, jazzy, like 1950s version that is really interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't listen to this on my own. Schweiss has walked away from the microphone. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Okay. You're good? Okay.
Yeah, I told James we were going to do Thrones at 1, and that didn't quite happen.
Okay.
Because it's 1:10.
Okay, well, we can wrap this up here soon.
Yeah, we're almost done. It's fine, though. It's fine.
It's a good way to add kind of levity right before the ending piece of the thing, which is probably what it was there for, as a playlist for the whole entire, probably their first performances was just doing this album.
Yeah, it kind of gets you in a different place so that they can really smack you across the face with the last track that they have on the album. So it's pretty well placed. It's just not one that I find great necessarily. So
yeah, the last piece is
it's the One-Winged Angel. So this is one of the biggest themes in Final Fantasy. It's huge. They play it pretty much every time, I'm sure, and it's a lot of fun. This one, it's not too different from the original version of the song, because the original one is this big fucker too. You know, it's like this huge big piece with the orchestra and with the the vocals and all that tearing off while it's going, and I think their version of it is great. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily better or worse than the original, because it sounds basically the same to me, as far as I remember.
The original one has some, it's synthesized. It's not a real orchestra.
Yeah, so it does add that to it.
Yeah,
but, it's a great one. It's a lot of fun. It's a really big, heavy piece, and that's always appreciated by me. And I think they did a pretty damn good job with it on this album. So. Yeah,
which is epic. This is my preferred version of this song. I like the metal version that Nobuo Uematsu did, that I believe is the what's the name of his band again?
The Black Mages.
Black Mages, yeah. The Black Mages version is pretty cool. It's got some electric guitar stuff in it, but even that I would play second to this version. I think this version is the best version of this song. Although the Advent Children / Black Mages version is pretty great, and the original one's also pretty great.
Right.
So I love this song, and I love this version of this song. And I think it's the version of the song that I've listened to the most as well. Just like when One Wing Angel is passed around, it does seem to be often the Distant Worlds version. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So that's all the stuff. I mean, there's not much to say about One Wing Angel except that it's awesome and iconic and sweet. And I think one of the other Distant Worlds might have Dancing Mad. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm excited to get to that because that's kind of like the almost like the One Wing Angel of FF6.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the album overall?
I think it's fine. I think they had some interesting choices as far as like the medley and making it so FF8 and 7 and 8 heavy. I kind of wish they would have explored the rest of the games a little more. I think it's weird they didn't have any FF10 tracks on the first album.
Yeah, weird.
Personally, I don't know. I think overall it's fine. There are some really great versions of some really great songs on it, but there are a bunch of pieces that I don't think I really needed necessarily, or even wanted on a couple of them, to be honest. But it's, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I think they have some that are, the top 5 songs that I put on here are really great and definitely belong, and the rest, they're fine. I think it's solid enough. I like their versions of all of these songs. Most of them I think are better versions. I think it's not the worst one on here, but the opera one is the one that I think, it's not the one I like the least, but it's kind of the one that I like the least, without actually liking it the least. It's their version of it that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one I put on the very bottom the Fisherman's Horizon in my ranking. I like their version. I just don't like that song. So it's there are a couple on there that I would probably not spend the time to listen to, and I didn't. And there's a reason for that. So, but overall, I do think it's a solid CD.
I wish it was a little bit more spread out. I feel like when they did this one, if it was 2007, there would have been 12 Final Fantasy games out.
Yeah,
and they could have done at least one track per game. I know now that they'll do some of the pieces from Soken and some of the pieces from, sorry, I can't remember her name, the lady who did the music for FF15. They'll mix those in now with Nobuo Uematsu, but Nobuo Uematsu's music is uniquely made great by orchestration. When I think one of the 12 pieces that they played at the Salt Lake one was not. It was like really like too simple and it wasn't dynamic enough. But they could have I think they should have picked one song per game, basically. At least in the medley, explore it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It is way too FF8 and FF7 heavy. Like, oh shit, now it's playing Metallica. Better stop that shit. Coming up for Breathe, Man, Breathe. That's not a Final Fantasy song. But yeah, I thought it was a good album. When I got the album, I was really satisfied with it, and I still am. Certainly Distant Worlds 1 and 2 as a set is really good. I have not listened to 3 or 4 yet, and I'm excited to get to those someday. But I loved how the album started, especially, and I love that it introduced me to Distant Worlds at the very least, and gave me my favorite version of One Wing Angel. So I think overall, I dig the hell out of this album. It's just, as a Final Fantasy fan, I wish they explored a little bit other avenues, just a little bit more.
Yeah. All right, fair.
All right, so we got our rankings. I can do mine first, and you can close this out.
All right, let's do it.
So in last place for me, and this is just what I would listen to if I were picking tracks in this thing, like going, when you put a CD in your car that's not like a 10 out of 10 CD, basically you just kind of skip to your favorite tracks.
Yeah.
These are the ones at the bottom are the ones I would more likely skip, and the ones at the top are the ones I would probably listen to. So number 13 is the opera, Maria and Draco.
Okay.
Just some of the lyrics there and the performances. No, their performances are good. Sorry. Just the way that thing is set up, I don't really dig it that much. So opera, Maria and Draco. Swing de Chocobo is number 12 for me. 11 is Vamo a la Flamenco. Once again, these are fine tracks. They're just, they don't really make me go crazy for them. Don't Be Afraid is number 10. Just because I can't listen to that piece of music ever again in my life.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Fisherman's Horizon. I think it's fine. Love Grows. Number 8, higher than I thought I would put, actually. Liberale Fatale, number 7. Just because I like the original one better. Although this version is pretty great. Medley 2002, I'd put it at number 6. Put that all the way up there. Theme of Love at number 5. Eris Theme at number 4. One Wing Angel at number 3. Great piece of music. Number 2, Memoro de la Stono, Distant Worlds. Great piece of music. Number 1, every time I listen to this album, I always thoroughly enjoy the bombing mission music. I love it.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I'm not saying it's a better piece of music or like an all-encompassing piece of music than Distant Worlds or One Wing Angel or Eris Theme or Theme of Love. But as far as me turning on the CD, I always love my experience with Bombing Mission. It's a good one to blast as far as orchestral music to blast.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What's your ranking?
All right. Well, I don't know. I wish I would have done this a little differently, but here's how I have it. 13, I've got Fisherman Horizon. Don't really care for it. Number 12, I have Medley 2002. Number 11, I have Vamo a la Flamenco from FF9. Number 10, I put Opera, the Maria and Draco song in there. I kind of wish I would have put that one a little lower, but I still like most of it. I just really don't like parts of it. Number 9, I put Swing to Chocobo. It's fun, but it's kind of, I don't know, don't need it. Number 8, I put Don't Be Afraid. Number 7, Love Grows. Number 6, The Opening Bombing Mission. Number 5, Memoro della Stono, Distant World. Number 4, The Theme of Love. Number 3, Aerith's Theme. Number 2, One Winged Angel. And I put Liberi Fatali as number 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On this CD. It might. I don't know if I like it as much as the original one, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, between that and One Winged Angel, I'm like, One Winged Angel is a little cheesier because of the Sephiroth part. You know, it's kind of campy. But Liberi Fatali doesn't have any of that, and it's a huge.
It has totally made up lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's total bullshit. But I don't speak. What is it? Fucking Latin. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know how bullshit it is. So it's great, and I think it works pretty well. I like their performance of it, and I think it's one of the best themes in the series, honestly. So
yeah, I agree.
Which is surprising coming from the game, one of the games that I don't understand why people like really much at all, but they do. So I think that's one of the keepers, and I think it's the best one on there. So.
Well, I think we're over an hour, so we can wrap it up here. Guys, submit your questions at our forums at ultimatefinalfantasy.com. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
You can check out our other shows, Nude Clan, the Godzilla Podcast, A Song of Swish and Johnson, and Puff Puff Hour. So go check out those shows as well. This is going to be interesting. We got to get into a groove here as far as recording is concerned. And once again, if anybody's in LA, tweet me, and we'll talk about it. But thanks, guys. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for listening. Enjoy Distant Worlds number 1. It's very good, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's very good. But yeah, guys, we'll see y'all later.
Enjoy the grind.
above.